Hello guys, Logan Kaler here again. This time around we have Denny Hamman of Boone. He decided recently that he also would like to run for mayor. He feels like he has a pretty good chance. Introducing Denny Hamman.
Thank you, Logan.
All right, so today we're just going to get to know Denny a little bit, hear about him, his past, where he's at now, what he kind of wants to see for the future. I'm going to start off the interview with one question, Denny. Why did you decide that you want to be mayor?
Well, it's kind of easy. I've been in town for not quite 60 years. Went to school here, raised my family here, went to DMAC here, so is my wife. She was born and raised here. And I spent 47 years in the car business, and locally with a local dealer. And in that interim, I also had my own, along with my partner, John Slight, and we had S&H Motor Company. So we were in the retail business for that period of time. And just the beginning of September of this month, the wife and I began our family business, Carol Renee Dance Center, beginning our 50th year in business. So this town has given our family a lot. And so I'm looking to give it back. I want to give something back in appreciation of what they've done for our family. And I have some ideas, nothing that the past hasn't done a great job at, but I have some ideas that I think can maybe help. I don't have any personal vendettas. I don't have a issue that I want to build a housing complex or this or that. And I'm just pretty much black and white. You're going to see exactly what I am. And I feel like I have a lot of common sense. I'll listen to both sides, and then I always say, now, I'll give you my opinion if you want to ask the question. And so I do.
That's good. That's good. So, speaking of qualities, what qualities do you believe that you possess, or that are part of who you are as a person, that make you best suited to be Boone's next mayor?
Well, like I said, I'm willing to listen to both sides of the party, okay? Because in the big picture, you're not going to get anything done if you don't get everybody pointing to one spot. You can have all kinds of different ideas out here, from one extreme to the other and in between, but if you're all working for one thing, you got to get it together. You got to negotiate. And that's what I spent my entire life in, is negotiating in the car business. That's what we did. So I feel that is one of my key attributes, is that I do listen. I can hear this side. I can hear that side. You got to come prepared. That's how I look at this. You've got to come prepared and knowledgeable about your side, though. Just saying, I want this because, that doesn't work. So I listen to both sides. I voice my opinion, and then we go from there. And I think that's my attribute, along with, also, like I said earlier, is that I know a lot of the department heads. I've worked with them. I just know them on a personal level. And I think I can mold those folks, and along with me, and we can mold towards each other, mold together, and come up with a particular plan or a different idea or something that can get this town going.
Cool. Let's go with, so let's talk about goals, or maybe just things you might like to see change in the future. Give me a few ideas.
It's really odd because just prior, I want to get this straight too, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. For fun, I threw out this morning a post asking what people thought about puffer belly, if they'd like to see it stay the same or move it back into the fall, make it a fall project. And I think when I left there a little bit ago, I had 40 some hits already, and everybody would like to see it move back, which I found interesting. That's not a real big key issue, but it is to a lot of people. It brings people into town, and that's what it's all about. If we need to move forward, we've got to do something to bring people into town, some economic development of some sort. I know that's on the fringes, but that event used to bring in thousands of people, and they'll trickle through the town and it'll benefit everybody. That's just one thing that works in this particular town. And we can go on from the racetrack's another big issue that, well, it's all good for the people in the south end of town. Well, that's not really true. They generate business throughout the whole town. I've talked to the folks on the south end, someplace that you wouldn't even think about. My chiropractor, for instance. What the heck would that have to do with raceheads? It did. They picked up 10 to 12 different people during that week. Okay, it's 10 to 12, but it did. The restaurants, I've talked to both Jeff and them out there. Of course, they've got folks to hit that pretty good. And so it's a development, it's a builder to get people into town, see what Boone has to offer. We got so many things to offer these folks. And I don't know if you want me to get into the wellness side of things or not. That's why.
The wellness center?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Want to go there?
Oh, absolutely, go ahead.
All right. And that's why I'm calling it the Sport and Fitness Center right now. It does not have a true name yet. But I happen to be on the board of the feasibility part of this thing. And I am totally 100% behind this project with the idea of the economic side of it. Yes, it could provide fields and a pool and an indoor track and this and that. And if you take a look around at other towns that have done this, it's generated economic development in maybe a restaurant or two, maybe a hotel, maybe housing, which is definitely something that we can use in this town. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. Is it going to happen next year? No. It's going to take some time, but you've got to start. And I just feel that thing can be looked at in an economic development way, along with providing the opportunities for these young kids to do something besides sit in their room and play on the computer and that. Get them active. If you talk, we have a young group that's in the committee, high school kids, and that's what they talk about from the past, that when they had the Y or whatnot, it was a place to meet their friends, see some other peers, see some older folks, and the kids don't have that really right now. So they talk about, well, do we need it? Can we use places that we currently have in that? That's what this company will do. They're going to come in, they're going to look at what we currently have, they're going to survey the city and folks and see what their main goal is or their main topic that they'd like to see done. And sites, look at the sites. It doesn't necessarily have to be here, there, or where. But this is going to be a bigger project than just a simple building in a 4x4 square, okay?
True.
So this is going to take a little time. It's going to take years to actually open up. But we've got to get started. We've got to go this way in order to get Boone to grow some.
Yeah. Speaking of the wellness center and kind of bringing everybody back together, what are some of the strengths and weaknesses that you see that Boone has right now, and how would you address them?
Well, strengths, I'm going to go here with that. I feel that our department heads in the city are some of the best there is. They're very, very good. Look at their track record. That's all you got to do. And they're aggressive in their department, from police, fire, public works, all of those. Happen to be friends with, like I said earlier, with them. Mr. Scare and Andrea that work in the finance side and the city administrator, they work above and beyond doing things, trying to get things into the city, making sure that we're got everything in compliance and so on and so forth. So that to me is strengths. We have some very good and aggressive business people that are wanting to get things moving and growing. Examples of that is the Main Street project, which is trying to get off the ground. And the weaknesses part, that to me is very, very simple. There's a lot of folks that just, how do I want to say this, that just combat those ideas. It's a small group. They don't like much of anything. It's a constant battle. Mm-hmm. It's not a vigilante thing by any means.
Like keyboard warriors or whatever.
Well, yeah, it's that dang social media thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the reason that there's so much conflict between certain groups, people, buildings, whatever, is that a lot of times that it's misinformation.
Yeah.
Off of that social media thing, which I wish it was somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It does have its spot. It does a lot of good things, but it also lets people hide on the backside. And that's where it all stems from. But I'm going to make sure when I get into that chair that you see everything out there that you can and answer your questions. I'm going to ask people to be educated in what their beef is, or why this or why that. They've got a lot of avenues right now. You can go to the internet, you can go to e-news, you can go to the city, you can go to City Hall themselves, you can call in. I don't know what else we can do except for go to your door and tell you about it. But one of my main goals is, when I get in there, is to develop a podcast. And with that, I'm going to have it so that send out a survey, or you just know you can come to the podcast website, voice your question that you may have, and then I will come in, I'll give you my opinion, and then, like in this case, doing something like this, I don't know a whole lot about it, I'll tell you what I do know, and then I would bring in Logan, who is the expert at it, and then he can tell you and talk to you, instead of letting people go, well, that's not what that is. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, there's the guy, there's the person. So that's my goal there, is to get the true information. Along when you come to council, because I've been going there for a year trying to get ready to accept this position, is when you come to council in the public, you got to come prepared with an idea, plan, etc. You can't stand up and just say, I don't like it. Well, why? Well, I don't know, but I just don't like it. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't get anywhere. And the anonymous person, whoever they are, won't even be acknowledged. If you don't have the fortitude to put your name behind your complaint or your idea or whatever, it's probably not a very good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, working in journalism, I'm definitely familiar with that. Yeah. I used to get a lot of people who would send me anonymous letters to the editor. It's like, I can't post this if you're not going to tell me what your name is.
Exactly.
But
I just find that very aggravating. But we got a small group of folks that just they just fight constantly, and that's probably number two, could be number one, but to get those people on the same page. I mean, we're not going to go nowhere.
No.
You know, and in order for Boone to grow and to get better and to do that small town, well, why aren't we like Ogden? I mean, you can go right there. Ogden or Madrid or Emmitsburg or Harlan, where these towns have that history of here's an idea and everybody's in. Okay? Now, you can't tell me that they throw out an idea in those towns and everybody loves it.
Yeah.
But they all finally get to that point. They get to that spot that they need to go to. That's what this town needs. Yeah. Okay? So.
Okay, I got one for you. Since I feel like this conversation is going pretty well, I gotta ask it. It's a little bit of a hot topic from people I've talked to. So you're really good friends with the current mayor.
Yep.
And there's going to be people, there's always people that'll disagree with, there's always someone who's going to disagree with you. And there's people that were not a fan of John Slight.
Right.
Maybe, there's everyone that's not a fan of everybody. So who's to say that you coming in is going to be any different than how things were with John?
Well, the thing is yeah, I am friends with John Slight. He was a partner in business and outside the business. And I guess I have a little bit of comic relief. I mean, where do you think he got all these good ideas?
I love it. I love it.
Um, but no, John's done a great job. Okay, there's no doubt about it. He's a 20-year mayor. He's won 10 times. Okay, I've asked people in the street, well, you think that, I'm nothing more than John Slight Jr. Okay, well, let me ask you this then. If John Slight was running for mayor, would you vote for him? Well, yeah. I go, so what's the deal? But it really what it boils down to is I like the things that administration has done over the years. And I just have some different views outside of that could help keep it rolling. Okay.
Cool.
That's the idea behind it. They've taken the city. Here's the deal that kind of stimulates that a little bit is expenditures and so on and so forth. This town has revenues in all the departments. Okay, the money that's spent, because when they came into office 20 some years ago, this town wasn't in very good financial shape. It's in good financial shape now. Okay, monetarily wise, and so we want to keep that going. All right, and like I said, that podcast idea, the working with the people downtown, I don't have a vendetta against anybody in this town, like some people seem to have. I'm not trying to build a housing project. I don't need a street named after me. I'm just here trying to get everybody together to make it fun and enjoyable to live here and that you want to come to Boone. Okay, we've got entertainment, if that's the word, and events and businesses in this town that bring a lot of people and can bring a lot of people into town. From Seven Oaks to the Explorers. I just worked the CVB booth at the State Fair this year. And it's unbelievable how many people have heard about Boone, nonetheless been in Boone, and the train thing, and Seven Oaks, and Ledges, and I could go on, but you know what I'm saying. So we have a lot of attributes that bring people in. So now we got to take that and give them some more exposure to the rest of the city to spend their money to come here for a weekend or whatever, bring their kids. And that goes back to that fitness center of tournaments. We can't do a tournament in town, track, because our track doesn't qualify for that. Swimming doesn't qualify for that, and these generate people. And if you look at these towns that are around that have these projects, slowly but surely, the economic development part starts. Might be a simple restaurant down in the corner of it. Then after they see a little traffic, then, hey, maybe here comes a hotel. And then after that is housing, and we need housing. This town is in need of probably somewhere around 1,000 housing units, either rentals or low income, medium, and upper level homes. And we need to do that in order to generate revenue, get them on the tax base. So, that's kind of how I look at things.
Sure. That's really about all I had. So now I'm going to ask you, well, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Yeah. In the police side, okay? Two things. Number one, I feel that our police and overall, we got to separate the national stuff that goes on, because we're not national, in case folks don't know. And those things, because good grief. But our police, I think overall, are pretty well looked at and held in good statute for that. But there's a program called Night Out. It's a national program that I'd like to bring in next August in 24. It's always in August. It's nationwide. And what this is, it's an organization that's there that gets the police, fire, and so forth together with the community. They get to tell them what they do, how they do it, and the people get to talk back. It's a great deal. It's really a neat program that goes on. The other thing, probably more important than that, and probably right up there along with funding the police, not defunding the police, because that has been stated in this race, is that SROs. SRO is a resource officer in our schools. We had one up to a couple years ago due to the fact that we had to do some restructuring due to budget and so on and so forth. We've had to reduce the officer by one. And so we've lost our resource officer. And the reason for that officer is that I think it's a mental type deal for our kids, okay? We gotta work with these kids and nurture them and get them to love the bee, as it's called, put the bee back in. And you can't start them when they're in high school, or if they happen to stay after high school, it's too late. So you gotta bring these kids up when they're little and give them some ideas and some hope of maybe staying here. But the resource officer in these schools kind of comes as that guy or gal that they can go to, talk to. Maybe they don't have that kind of structure at home, but they trust the officer. They also tell them things that are going on in the schools that, you know, that not everybody knows, but hey, so-and-so is doing this, so that we can be aware so we don't have a major problem or a catastrophic problem. That happens. You can say it won't, but every one of those catastrophic deals that goes on, everybody says, well, I never thought it happened here. So it can. And mentally, we have a mental issue or mental problem. We all know that nationwide with kids up to through grown-ups. And I think mentally, for these younger kids especially, is having the feeling of being safe, okay? And that's why I said about earlier about safety. As far as the police and fire and ambulance, when you call 911, I want somebody to be there shortly, okay? Safety, be it young or old, be it fire, be it accident, whatever, you need to have somebody there. And I feel that's very, very key. And that's how I see that SRO guy or gal. By the way, we do have 2 female officers. I'm proud of that fact. Because that's a tough racket to get into. As far as a police officer, that's a several weeks to a month process. They first come to the commission that I'm in for an interview to be weeded out. Either you go on or you don't. Then they go to an officer board where you have a group of officers, 5, 6, 7 of them, that go through an interview process. It's very, very tough to get through. And then from there, they go to the chief. He makes a decision on who to hire, okay? So we have got an outstanding group of people, and I think, myself, we should be very proud that we have 2 ladies that are currently on our police force, and they've done a great job. They really have. So that's another issue that I have that's really dear to me, is to get that SRO back into the schools.
Awesome. I can feel your passion for that subject.
Yeah, it's just, you know I talk a little bit more on that police side, but even going back to Shop with the Cop program, it's been so successful. I'd like to think that we kind of kicked that off, but I got to be smart about it. But Boone is one of the best programs that kicked that program off. There's been some tweaks and changes and so on and so forth, but overall, that gives 100, 125 kids an opportunity to have Christmas. And that's what it's about. Going back to what I was saying about the kids, get their mental stability there and give them hope to make themselves better down the road.
Awesome. So Denny, if there's anything else you want chit chat about, go ahead and tell everyone how they could get in contact with you if they had any questions.
Yeah, you can go to my Facebook page. It's Denny Hamman for Mayor. All the information is on there. You can leave a message there, or you can also text me. There's a phone number there for that. It's 515-230-9151. I do work, so I may not get you right away, but I will contact you back and give you that. Or like I say, on the Facebook or websites, you're more than happy to help you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Denny Hamman.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you.